Chosen one, listen closely. You didn't arrive here by accident. Something has been stirring beneath the surface of your everyday life, a quiet pulse, a rhythm you can't explain. It wakes you at midnight. It whispers through the noise. You can feel that you were never meant to live an ordinary story. That's not restlessness. That's your divine calling, tapping on the door of your heart. Every storm, every silence, every season of confusion, none of it was wasted. Heaven was shaping you in the shadows. You were being carved like a diamond hidden in rough stone. When others mistook your isolation for failure, God called it incubation. You were not overlooked. You were protected until the appointed hour. Picture yourself as an arrow resting in the hand of an archer. For a long time, you felt the tension, the pullback that hurts, the waiting that stretches faith to its limits. But the greater the tension, the farther the release. You are about to be launched with precision into the purpose designed for you since before time began. Once there was a young man who thought God had forgotten him. He worked quietly, away from crowds, his dreams fading like old ink. But one night, he sensed a whisper. You are not hidden, you are being positioned. Months later, an unexpected door opened. What seemed random was divine alignment. His story is yours too. What you call delay, heaven calls preparation. You've felt the difference inside you. When others run from pressure, something in you runs toward truth. That's because the mark of a chosen one is not comfort, it's courage. You were designed to sense what others ignore, to stand firm when the ground trembles. You see patterns others dismiss. You hear the spiritual before it becomes visible. That awareness is not a burden, it's your anointing, awakening. The word of the Lord declares in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11, For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and give you hope. That promise still breathes over you right now. Heaven's blueprint for your life has never changed. It's simply unfolding in perfect time. Every disappointment redirected you closer to destiny. Every unanswered prayer was a lesson in trust. And now, as the spiritual clock ticks toward a new era, you are being summoned to rise. You might wonder, why now? Because your generation needs voices of clarity in the chaos. You are one of them. When others lose heart, you will speak peace. When fear grips nations, you will carry wisdom. That's why your battles have been heavier, because your calling carries weight. The greater the mission, the greater the opposition. But remember, opposition is just confirmation in disguise. Think of your journey like a sunrise breaking over a battlefield. The darkness doesn't disappear all at once. It retreats inch by inch as light pushes forward. That's you, your faith, pushing back the shadows of doubt. Every act of obedience is a beam of light that tells the darkness, you don't win here. Chosen one, this is your awakening. You don't need to strive anymore. You simply need to say yes. Heaven has already chosen you. Now it waits for your agreement. The first step is faith. The next step is obedience. And the step after that will reveal the path that was hidden all along. So pause right here. Take a breath. Feel the gravity of this moment. Something is shifting inside you, not because of emotion, but because your spirit recognizes truth when it hears it. This is your confirmation. You were never ordinary, and your time has come. Before you leave this message, Seal your awakening with action. Like, share, and comment 111 if this resonates in your spirit. That single number is your declaration that you hear heaven's call and you're ready to walk in purpose. The journey begins not tomorrow, but right now with your yes. You are stepping into alignment, where destiny and obedience finally meet. This is more than motivation. It's a spiritual activation. You can almost feel the shift in the air, the way your heartbeat matches heaven's rhythm. Every step forward from here is sacred ground. Do not doubt what you feel. The same voice that called prophets now calls you. The same power that raised leaders in the wilderness is breathing through your lungs. You are not a mistake. You are a movement waiting to unfold. Keep walking. Keep listening. Keep burning. The awakening has begun, and the world will soon recognize the light that you already carry. You've often wondered why life kept leading you into solitude, why people you trusted faded without warning, why certain doors shut, no matter how hard you knocked. But what if those were not endings? What if they were beginnings in disguise? The isolation you've endured was never punishment. It was heaven's way of creating space for your transformation. There's a difference between loneliness and separation. Loneliness says you've been abandoned. Separation says you've been chosen for refinement. You have been walking through a divine filter, where everything unnecessary falls away, so only truth remains. What you've lost recently: relationships, positions, comfort, was never meant to survive. The next chapter, God removes the noise so that you can finally hear His voice clearly. Imagine a potter at his wheel. He presses his hands deep into the clay, reshaping it again and again. The clay doesn't understand why it's being stretched, pressed, or broken. Yet the potter never removes his hands. The pressure is the proof of presence. So it is with you. Every moment you felt crushed, you were being molded into something holy and durable. You remember that season when your phone stopped ringing, when no one checked in, when you felt like the world had forgotten you. You cried out, "Where are you, God?" But what you didn't realize was that the silence was sacred. Heaven had placed you in a spiritual greenhouse, a place of hidden growth, where light filters softly and roots go deep before any leaf appears above ground. The word of wisdom reminds us that solitude is not a curse, it's the classroom of the Spirit. According to what is written in the book of Hosea, chapter 2, verse 14, "Therefore, behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak tenderly to her." Wilderness seasons are where God teaches you His tone. When the world grows quiet, the whisper of heaven becomes unmistakable. In the wilderness, every false identity begins to fall away. You no longer perform for validation. You no longer chase applause. You learn to breathe in stillness, to walk by faith without confirmation. The solitude sharpens your discernment. You start noticing things, energies, intentions, spiritual patterns that others overlook. You realize that discernment is not suspicion, it's sight sharpened by surrender. Think of Elijah, hiding near the brook Cherith. The prophet once called down fire, yet in that quiet valley, even he had to sit still and learn dependence. Ravens brought him bread and meat each morning. What a humbling miracle food delivered by the least expected means. You, too, have been fed by ravens, unlikely kindness, unexpected provision. strength that appears just when you think you have none left. Sometimes, God hides his leaders before he releases them. He lets them be misunderstood so they can learn compassion. He lets them be forgotten so they never depend on fame. You've walked through rooms where your name was ignored, but heaven whispered it constantly. Every tear shed in that private place watered your future influence. You've also learned something sacred in isolation. Peace is not found in company, but in communion. When the crowd disappeared, you discovered the quiet rhythm of divine companionship. You realized you were never truly alone. You were simply being trained to stand with God when no one else stands with you. There's a holy paradox here. The same isolation that broke you also built you. The same silence that hurt you also healed you. You entered that season thinking you had lost everything, but you are walking out of it with a strength no storm can steal. And though you may not notice it yet, separation is beginning to birth visibility. The hidden one is becoming the called one. The forgotten one is becoming the forerunner. You are crossing the line from preparation to purpose. And when people see you again, they won't recognize you, not because you've changed on the outside, but because peace has become your armor. So do not curse the quiet places. They were the sacred halls of your becoming. Isolation was never meant to shrink you, it was meant to define you. Heaven has been sculpting a leader in silence, so that when your name is called, you won't perform. You'll simply be ready. The quiet season was never wasted time. It was the forge where endurance was born. You learned to breathe in uncertainty and trust that hidden roots still grow strong. Now the silence ends. The same stillness that once confined you has become your strength. You emerge steady, refined, and unshakable, ready to walk in purpose. You've felt it for a while now, the invisible war beneath the surface of your days. You wake up heavy. Though nothing seems wrong, you go to sleep, exhausted. Though you've barely moved, it's not just stress, it's spiritual warfare. Your spirit, senses, battles, your mind cannot name. You, chosen one, have been fighting, not with fists, but with faith. Not for survival, but for your inheritance. There are two worlds moving at once, the visible and the unseen. The visible one distracts you with deadlines, noise, and endless scrolling. The unseen one tugs at your soul, calling you toward destiny. Every thought of giving up is not just emotion, it's an attack on your purpose. Darkness fears your awakening because once you rise, others will too. You've noticed it. Moments when your mood shifts suddenly, when peace evaporates for no reason. That's not coincidence. It's interference. The enemy can't steal your calling, so he tries to drain your focus. He throws confusion like smoke, so you can't see the way forward. But even smoke can't stop light. It only reveals where the fire burns. You are that fire. It is written in the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. The battle is real, but so is your armor. Every trial you've survived added another layer of strength. Every prayer whispered through tears forged another weapon. You've been trained in the invisible before being released in the visible. And now, heaven is unveiling what those hidden years prepared you for. Think of David before Goliath. Everyone saw a boy with a sling, but heaven saw a warrior forged by lions and bears in private. The battlefield only revealed what the wilderness had already built. You, too, have fought unseen giants, depression, fear, doubt, and though no one applauded, heaven recorded every victory. There was a night when you almost gave up. The weight on your chest felt unbearable, but somewhere deep within, a small voice whispered, "Not yet." That voice wasn't your imagination, it was divine intervention. You were one prayer away from collapse, but mercy stood guard. Now you understand. Spiritual warfare is not proof of weakness, it's proof of assignment. The enemy only attacks what threatens him. Imagine your soul as a fortress on a hill. Darkness tries to breach the walls. But every time you choose faith over fear, another layer of light seals the cracks. You've learned to fight not by shouting, but by standing still. Stillness, when guided by trust, is one of heaven's fiercest weapons. You may think your prayers are small, your voice too quiet to matter. Yet, in the unseen realm, each word of faith lands like thunder. Angels move when you speak life. Chains tremble when you choose forgiveness instead of bitterness. Every act of obedience shifts the atmosphere more than you know. You are learning now that warfare isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the decision to keep your heart pure when everything around you tries to corrupt it. Sometimes it's choosing peace instead of proving your point. Sometimes it's simply refusing to let go of hope. These small victories are the reason you still stand. And here's the secret. Heaven wants you to grasp. Your authority doesn't come from striving, it comes from alignment. When your heart beats with heaven's rhythm, darkness loses its grip. The battle doesn't end overnight, but the tide has already turned. The moment you realized who you are, you became unstoppable. So, breathe. Straighten your shoulders. This war won't crush you, it's shaping you. Every storm is revealing your spiritual endurance. You are learning how to carry light into the darkest corners without losing it. You are not just surviving the battle, you are rewriting its outcome. Before this moment ends, make your declaration visible. Comment, "Light wins," 2 words that echo through the unseen realm. When you write them, you're not performing, you're proclaiming. You're announcing to heaven and to darkness alike that no matter the struggle, the light inside you cannot be silenced. When you write those 2 words, heaven hears more than text, it hears surrender. It's the language of faith spoken through your fingertips. A silent agreement that light still wins, even when vision blurs. Every time you declare light wins, you remind darkness it has an expiration date. You remind your weary soul that the battle is already decided. The victory is not someday, it's unfolding now. So keep those words near. Whisper them in moments of fear. Write them where your eyes will find them again. Because every time you say it, light grows stronger inside you. You've begun to notice something new, a quiet sensitivity awakening in your spirit. It's as if your inner ear has tuned itself to frequencies others can't perceive. You walk into a room and feel the heaviness before anyone speaks. You sense when hearts are burdened, even behind practiced smiles. This is not imagination. It's the spiritual sensitivity that marks a true chosen one. Once, you might have dismissed these sensations as overthinking, but now you recognize them for what they are, signals from heaven. God has entrusted you with the ability to sense the invisible, not to overwhelm you, but to guide you. Like a shepherd who hears the faintest cry from a lost sheep, you perceive what others overlook. Your heart has become an instrument tuned to divine frequencies, vibrating at the rhythm of compassion. This sensitivity is both gift and weight. It can make crowds exhausting, noise unbearable, and injustice almost painful to witness. Yet the same heart that aches deeply also carries heaven's empathy. When you feel too much, remember that your tears are evidence of divine connection. Sensitivity in the spirit is not fragility, it's authority wrapped in mercy. As recorded in the book of Proverbs, chapter 20, verse 27, "The spirit of man is the lamp of the Lord, searching all his innermost parts." You are that lamp. Your discernment is God's light, moving through human form. That's why you see what others cannot. You were made to illuminate what's hidden, to bring truth into rooms dimmed by fear and deceit. But sensitivity comes with a lesson. Not everything you sense is yours to carry. Discernment must be partnered with wisdom. Just because you perceive pain doesn't mean you are called to fix it. Sometimes your role is to intercede quietly, not intervene visibly. The difference between discernment and distraction lies in obedience. There was once a woman who could sense when storms were coming, not in the sky, but in the hearts of people. She would feel sudden heaviness, moments before bad news arrived. At first, she called it anxiety. Later, she realized it was intercession. Heaven trusted her to pray before others even knew they needed it. Her story mirrors yours. Sensitivity is not random, it is assignment. This gift often isolates you. It makes you seem distant because while others talk about surface things, you feel undercurrents. You read silence like a language. You see patterns in behavior that others ignore. You notice spiritual climates shifting before they manifest in the natural. It can be overwhelming, yes, but also profoundly beautiful. You are a watchtower, positioned to see storms before they reach the shore. In moments when the weight feels heavy, remember this: even Jesus withdrew to solitary places to pray. Sensitivity without solitude becomes suffocation. You need sacred spaces where you can empty what you've absorbed. Prayer is not just communication, it's cleansing. Every time you step into God's presence, you exchange burdens for clarity. Schaus for calm. There's a quiet glory in being spiritually awake. You begin to move differently, not reacting, but responding. You start noticing divine timing. Small synchronicities, moments that feel like whispers from another realm. The more you honor these nudges, the stronger they grow. Heaven trains your intuition to become precision. Your sensitivity is also your protection. The unease you feel around certain places or people isn't paranoia, it's warning. The peace that suddenly floods your heart about a decision isn't coincidence, it's confirmation. You are learning to interpret spiritual language fluently, one impression at a time. Still, this awareness requires balance. Without grounding, it can feel like drowning. That's why God pairs every sensitive heart with a season of stillness. He teaches you to filter revelation through peace, not fear. The more you rest in His presence, the clearer the signals become. What once felt confusing now becomes direction. Think of yourself as a window through which heaven looks at the earth. The clearer the glass, the brighter the light. That's why you've been cleansed through tears, solitude, and surrender, so the view stays unobstructed. You are not meant to be a sponge for the world's pain, but a mirror reflecting heaven's comfort back to it. So when you feel deeply, don't rush to suppress it. Sit with it. Listen. Ask what it reveals. Sometimes the ache is intercession. Sometimes it's empathy. And sometimes it's simply a reminder that your heart is still alive in a world that has grown numb. Your spiritual sensitivity is not a curse. It is your compass. It will lead you to divine encounters, protect you from counterfeit alignments, and guide you toward people heaven has prepared for your mission. The more you embrace it, the more accurate it becomes. You are not too emotional. You are finely tuned. You are not too soft. You are spiritually aware. The lamp of the Lord burns brightly within you, and that light, once awakened, will never dim again. There are moments when the air itself seems to change as you walk in. People can't explain it, but they feel it. The atmosphere shifts. The tension softens. The unspoken heaviness begins to lift. You've wondered why this happens. Why resistance seems to follow you wherever you go. It's because darkness recognizes you before people do. It sees the mark of light upon you. From the beginning, your presence has disturbed the enemy's plans. Before you even knew your purpose, heaven had already announced it in the unseen. That is why opposition rose early in your story, because light exposes what hides comfortably in shadows. Every attack you faced was a reaction to your potential, not proof of your weakness. You are a walking disruption to every atmosphere that feeds on fear. Even your silence speaks. When you enter a place heavy with anxiety, peace begins to whisper through unseen corridors. When you speak truth, confusion trembles. That is what it means to carry light. It challenges every shadow to retreat. There was once a man who couldn't understand why people either loved or avoided him. Wherever he went, emotions flared, some drawn, some agitated. He prayed for understanding, and God showed him a vision of a torch in darkness. Wherever the flame moved, insects scattered, yet the lost found their way home. That's your story too. The same light that comforts the hungry spirit unsettles the unhealed one. The scripture declares in the book of John, chapter 1, verse 5, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." This truth lives inside you. You carry illumination that no shadow can extinguish. That's why certain people misunderstand you. Your light reveals what they've tried to hide, not just from the world, but from themselves. But take heart. Rejection is often recognition in disguise. Even Jesus, the purest light, was misunderstood by those still blinded by their own walls. Sometimes, the warfare around you isn't personal, it's positional. The enemy resists what threatens him. You are an agent of clarity in a world addicted to confusion. Your words pierce like arrows of revelation. Your prayers break chains invisible to human eyes. You don't need a title or a pulpit. You simply need presence. Because when light walks in, darkness loses its territory. Still, carrying light can feel lonely. You notice the spiritual tension before anyone else. You sense battles in rooms that seem calm. Yet, that awareness is not meant to isolate you. It's meant to remind you that heaven trusts you. You are part of a global network of light bearers, all awakening at once, all walking into dark places, not to condemn, but to heal. It's beautiful when you realize the darkness has no power of its own. It only survives where light refuses to shine. And you, chosen one, are learning not to fear the dark, to illuminate it. The greater the night, the clearer your flame becomes. Imagine your life as a seed of fire planted in the soil of humanity. At first it smolders quietly, unseen. But every act of love, every word of faith, releases sparks that spread through hearts you may never meet. You are both the torch and the gardener, nurturing warmth in places that have forgotten how to feel. And here, within this sacred exchange between message and listener, you have a choice. You can let the light stop here, or you can help it travel further. To like, to share, to subscribe isn't an obligation, it's an act of light propagation, like tossing embers into the night sky so others can find the way home. When you choose to spread this flame, you participate in something eternal. You're not promoting a message, you're amplifying a movement. Every gesture becomes a ripple on the surface of time, a wave of light carrying hope to unseen shores. Somewhere, a weary soul will hear what you heard, and warmth will reach them through your simple decision. The world doesn't need louder voices, it needs brighter ones. And you, carrying this living spark, have the power to turn digital echoes into divine resonance. The choice remains yours, not out of duty, but out of devotion. Let this moment linger like the last glow of sunset, quiet, honest, sacred. Feel the warmth in your spirit that says, yes, this matters. And if you sense that warmth, let your actions mirror it. Pass the flame. Let light multiply through your simple yes. Because in the end, it's not algorithms that awaken hearts, it's light, moving from one willing soul to another until the world is illuminated again. You've started noticing the dreams lately strange, vivid, almost alive. You wake up with a lingering sense that they weren't just dreams, but messages. They carry symbols you can't shake, doors, rivers, light breaking through clouds, familiar faces, speaking words you can't quite remember. Don't dismiss them. When God calls a chosen one, He often begins with whispers in the night, dreams, visions, sudden impressions. These are heaven's way of communicating with those sensitive enough to listen. You've been feeling that pull in your spirit when you lie down, that gentle stirring before you drift to sleep. That's not your mind wandering, it's divine download. Heaven speaks to you in the language of symbols because your spirit understands pictures better than paragraphs. There's a reason for this new clarity. When your calling begins to mature, revelation starts flowing differently. You'll begin to sense things before they happen, feel shifts before others notice, hear instructions that seem strange until they unfold perfectly. You're not imagining it, you're tuning into a frequency that's always been there. The noise of the world once drowned it out, but now your ears have been anointed for hearing. According to what is written in the book of Job, chapter 33, verse 15, in a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on people as they slumber in their beds, He opens their ears and gives them instruction. This is happening to you now. Heaven is opening your spiritual ears, giving you strategies, directions, and warnings in the quiet hours. You're not crazy for feeling patterns in what others call coincidence. You are simply perceiving from a higher vantage point. Prophetic perception is not arrogance, it's stewardship. You are being entrusted with what others are not ready to see. There's a story about a man who dreamed he was planting seeds in a field covered in fog. He couldn't see the harvest, only the act of planting. Each time he placed a seed, a faint light would flicker beneath the soil. Months later, he learned that every decision of obedience he'd made during that foggy season was preparing a breakthrough he couldn't yet see. His dreams were blueprints, not fantasies. So it is with you. The things you've been shown in secret will begin to unfold in sequence. You may not understand everything yet, but interpretation grows with intimacy. Don't rush to explain what heaven shows. Just record it. Write it down, even when it doesn't make sense. Vision matures over time, and revelation always comes with responsibility. There will be moments when your dreams seem heavy, warning dreams, ones that leave your heart pounding. Don't let fear speak louder than faith. God reveals to heal, not to scare. When the Spirit allows you to see spiritual danger, it's an invitation to intercede. You are part of the defense line in the unseen. Prophetic insight also appears in daily life. You'll find meaning in small, sacred coincidences, a song lyric that answers a prayer, a stranger's words that echo your private thoughts, numbers that repeat until you finally look up their meaning. These are divine breadcrumbs guiding your steps. Don't treat them lightly. Treat them as conversation starters with heaven. But be wise. Not every dream is divine. Some come from anxiety, others from exhaustion. Discernment is key. That's why God pairs revelation with relationship, so you can tell which voice is His and which is just noise. You're learning to separate inspiration from illusion, and with each test, your clarity sharpens. Think of your mind as a night garden, where heaven plants seeds of vision while the world sleeps. You wake to find those seeds sprouting as ideas, solutions, or warnings. Some bloom quickly, others take seasons, but none are wasted. Every dream carries instruction for a destiny moment waiting ahead. This new season is sacred. It's no coincidence that your rest has become restless. Heaven often disturbs sleep to awaken purpose. You are being prepared for assignments that require both sensitivity and courage. When the visions grow strong, don't run record. Reflect and pray. Some of what you see will guide nations. Some will heal single souls. But all of it is divine stewardship. And when the message resonates deep within you, acknowledge it quietly, reverently. Comment 222 as a symbol of alignment between heaven, earth, and your spirit. It's not a number for attention. It's a sign that you recognize heaven's communication. When you write it, it becomes a declaration. I am listening. Because from this night forward, your dreams are not just dreams, they are dialogues. And your listening is heaven's confirmation that revelation found the right heart to rest in. You've felt the growing pressure inside lately, a deep weight that doesn't come from exhaustion, but from awareness. It's as if you're carrying something larger than yourself. The world feels heavier, and somehow your heart feels responsible for it. That, chosen one, is the mark of divine responsibility settling upon your shoulders. You've stepped into the phase where compassion becomes commission. You don't cry randomly anymore. Those sudden tears are intercession. You don't feel burdened for strangers by accident. That stirring, that ache, when you see pain or injustice, is heaven's signal. You are part of the answer. This is what happens when a soul begins to align with its purpose. Your empathy becomes action, and your sensitivity becomes calling. This weight doesn't crush you because it was measured for you. Before you were born, heaven calibrated your heart for the magnitude of this mission. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every betrayal stretched your capacity to carry more light. You were never being punished, you were being expanded. The sacred word declares in the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 2, "Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ." Carrying the burdens of others doesn't always mean solving their problems. Sometimes it means standing in quiet prayer when they can't find words. Sometimes it means listening without judgment, offering presence instead of advice. True leadership in the kingdom doesn't begin with power, it begins with compassion. There was a woman who once asked God to use her. Not long after, she started feeling every emotion around her more intensely. Sorrow hit her like waves. People's struggles clung to her spirit. She thought she was falling apart. But heaven was expanding her empathy. God had answered her prayer. He was making her a vessel large enough to hold others' pain and still pour hope back into them. That is your story too. The weight of responsibility is not punishment, it's privilege. It means heaven trusts you with what others would crumble under. It means your heart has matured enough to bear heaven's pulse, to feel what God feels when He looks at the world. That ache inside you is not burnout, it's divine compassion in motion. Still, you must learn balance. Every intercessor must also learn to rest. Compassion without boundaries turns into exhaustion. You can't pour from an empty vessel, and heaven never asked you to save the world alone. You're part of a greater symphony, one instrument among many. Your part matters, but so does your pause. Rest is not disobedience, it's replenishment. Think of yourself as a bridge between heaven and earth. Bridges are strong, but they must also be maintained. If they carry too much weight without care, even the strongest steel begins to bend. So, take time in solitude. Let prayer become oxygen again. Let silence mend the cracks that empathy can't. You'll notice something beautiful when you carry responsibility the right way. Instead of feeling drained, you begin to feel fulfilled. The same compassion that once overwhelmed you starts to energize you. Your heart beats in rhythm with heaven's, and you realize that this burden was never meant to break you. It was meant to connect you. The world is desperate for this kind of leadership, not loud, not arrogant, but steady and kind. People follow authenticity more than authority. When they see someone who carries peace through chaos, they instinctively move closer. That's how heaven leads, through love that cannot be imitated. This is why you've felt tension between comfort and calling. The easy road tempts you, but your spirit refuses it. You know too much now. Once you've seen the divine pattern, you can't unsee it. You're called to step into the hard places, the messy spaces, where healing must begin. That's not a burden, it's a sacred trust. Remember this, the weight of heaven does not fall on weak shoulders. It rests on those who have learned to kneel. Your humility is what holds your strength together. Every time you surrender, the pressure redistributes, and grace takes the heavier side. That's how you keep going, by not carrying it alone. One day, you'll look back and realize that this weight, this holy pressure, shaped your spine into steel and your heart into gold. It taught you to lead without demanding, to love without conditions, to give without losing yourself. You were chosen to carry this because you can. because your heart was refined for it. Because heaven knew you'd bear the weight and still keep your wonder. The burden hasn't come to break you. It has come to build the leader the world has been waiting for. Every chosen one must walk through fire. There is no other way to reveal what is indestructible inside you. The fire comes in many forms: disappointment, betrayal, loss, rejection, but its purpose is always the same: purification. The flames that once frightened you are now the very tool heaven uses to prove what you're made of. You didn't ask for the suffering. You didn't expect the loneliness. Yet, each trial carved wisdom into your soul that comfort could never teach. Fire doesn't destroy gold. It defines it. You are discovering that what the enemy meant for ruin has become the refinery of resilience. It begins quietly. The first spark might be a loss that shakes your plans. The second, a relationship that ends without explanation. Then comes the silence, the kind that feels like heaven itself has gone still. That silence is sacred. The forge always begins in quiet. You are not being ignored. You are being refined. As declared in the book of Zechariah, chapter 13, verse 9, I will bring that group through the fire and make them pure. I will refine them like silver and test them like gold. They will call on my name, and I will answer them. That verse is not just history, it's happening in you. Every test has been heaven's classroom. Every loss, a lesson in endurance. Pain doesn't mean abandonment, it means transformation. When gold enters the fire, it doesn't plead for escape, it waits for the impurities to rise. You, too, have been learning the art of waiting in the heat without losing your faith. There was a man who once cried out in frustration, "Why does everything I touch burn?" One night, in a vision, he saw himself as iron inside a furnace. Sparks danced around him, and he wanted to run, but a voice said, "Stay. You are not being burned, you are being shaped." When he awoke, he understood. The fire wasn't punishment. It was formation. You've lived that truth. The things that tried to destroy you ended up developing you. You've walked through emotional infernos and spiritual droughts. You've felt the sharp heat of loss and the slow burn of waiting. Yet, somehow, you're still standing softer in heart, but stronger in spine. Fire has a way of melting what is false and hardening what is real. It is in the furnace that you learn who you are when the applause fades. When plans fail, when everything familiar turns to ash, that's when character takes shape. You learn to lean on faith, not feelings. You stop chasing answers and start building endurance. You stop needing control and start trusting process. That's how leaders are made in firelight, not spotlight. There is a strange beauty to refinement. At first, the flames hurt, but after a while, you begin to see the glow. You realize the fire isn't just around you, it's within you. It's the same holy fire that once burned in the bush Moses saw, the same flame that descended on the prophets, the same spark that brought light into the void. You are part of that eternal pattern. Heaven always sets apart by setting a flame. You may not see it yet, but the glow on you is visible in the spirit. You radiate something different now, an authority that suffering alone can produce. People will sense it when you speak. Your words will carry weight because they were tested in heat. You've been through enough to know the cost of real faith. And that authenticity cannot be faked. The fire also burns away attachments that can't follow you into destiny. Every time you lose something that once defined you, another layer of the old self peels away. It hurts, but it's holy. God is making sure that when you stand before new doors, you no longer carry what belongs to the past. Refinement is not subtraction, it's preparation. And though it's painful, something deep inside you has begun to thank the fire, because without it, you would never have known your own strength. Without it, you would still define yourself by others' opinions. Without it, you would not have learned the sacred calm that comes from trusting that no flame can consume what heaven has sealed. When you look back on this season one day, you won't see ashes, you'll see architecture. The structure of who you are was built in firelight. You will understand that the forge was not your enemy, it was your making. So don't fear the heat anymore. It's proof that heaven hasn't forgotten you. Flames surround the favored. You are not burning out, you are burning bright. There comes a time when the heat of refinement gives way to a strange calm, the calm before a great shift. You begin to sense something in your spirit. A new authority pressing against your chest, like the weight of a mantle being lowered from heaven. You're not the same person who entered the fire. The trembling has stopped. The fear has melted. And in its place, there's a quiet certainty you have changed. The season of preparation has ended. What was hidden in you is beginning to surface. You may not feel different, but the spiritual realm already recognizes the change. The authority you now carry doesn't come from titles or positions. It comes from scars that healed correctly. Every wound you surrendered became a seal of power. Every test you passed in silence became a promotion unseen by men, but recorded in heaven. You've been entrusted with something sacred, an anointing not just to survive, but to lead. When heaven places a mantle on a life, it is never accidental. Mantles are not decorations, they are responsibilities woven from obedience. And now, yours rests upon you, shimmering like invisible armor, as it is written in the book of Matthew, chapter 8, verse 26. The spirit of Elijah rests on Elisha. That same transference happens in your life right now, not from a prophet's cloak, but through spiritual inheritance. The mantle you receive today carries the strength of every battle you've endured and the prayers of those who came before you. This moment is sacred. You may feel the shift in small ways, your discernment sharper, your words heavier, your peace deeper. People might even start to treat you differently, drawn to the calm in your presence without knowing why. That's the mark of spiritual authority. You no longer need to announce it. Heaven's oil speaks louder than any introduction. There was once a young man who doubted his calling. He feared he wasn't ready to lead. One night in prayer, he saw a vision of an ancient cloak made of light descending slowly toward him. As it touched his shoulders, every voice of fear fell silent. He woke with tears in his eyes and a verse echoing in his mind. "My grace is sufficient for you." From that day forward, he didn't need confirmation. He walked in quiet conviction. That's what this season feels like. No thunder, no lightning, just a steady knowing that you are chosen for greater work. You'll notice doors opening, not because you chase them, but because your spirit now carries permission. You no longer strive for platforms. Platforms find you. With every mantle comes movement. Heaven doesn't crown you for comfort, it equips you for impact. The people assigned to your voice will begin to appear. Some will be broken, searching for the same healing you've already walked through. Others will challenge you, testing the depth of your humility. But through it all, You will lead not by control, but by compassion. You'll discover that true authority doesn't raise its voice, it raises the standard. It doesn't dominate, it demonstrates. And as you continue to walk, your presence alone will begin to shift the atmosphere around you. Peace will enter where you stand. Clarity will return where you speak. Heaven's mantle turns your very existence into a message. Yet, even with this elevation, remember humility. Every crown heaven gives must be worn with bowed knees. The mantle is not a trophy, it's a towel, meant for serving. God doesn't increase you for applause, He increases you to reach further. Every new level of authority will require deeper surrender. When you feel the weight of this mantle, don't shrink back. Don't question why it's you. Remember the journey, the isolation, the fire, the tears. You've already been tested. This is not a surprise promotion, it's a fulfilled promise. You are ready. Still, let this truth settle gently into your soul. Authority is not noise, it's presence. When you walk into the next season, you won't need to declare who you are. Heaven already has. Before you move on, seal this awareness. Let heaven see your agreement, not through pride, but through reverence. Comment, mantle on, as a silent declaration that you receive what has been placed upon you. It's not a phrase, it's a covenant, an acknowledgement that you accept both the honor and the responsibility of divine leadership. Carry it with humility. Walk with confidence. The mantle rests, and the mission begins. When you write those two words, you're not typing letters, you're stepping into lineage. Mantle on means I accept the call. I carry the flame. It's your soul's signature on heaven's scroll, declaring readiness to lead with courage, compassion, and unwavering faith. The storms are here again. The winds rise, the ground trembles, and fear moves through the crowd like a cold whisper. Yet, in the middle of the chaos, you feel something different. Calm, purpose, focus. This is the sign you have crossed from survival into leadership. You don't panic when others do because you've already faced fire and silence. You've learned that storms do not come to destroy the chosen, they come to reveal them. You stand now, where the noise is loudest. People look for someone to blame, someone to follow, someone who can still see clearly when the horizon disappears. That someone is you. Heaven has been training your spirit for this exact hour. The storms you once feared have become the very winds that lift your wings. As it is written in the book of Matthew, chapter 8, verse 26. Then he got up and rebuked the winds and the waves, and it was completely calm. That same authority lives within you. You are not a spectator to chaos, you are a stabilizer in it. Leadership in the end times is not about shouting orders, it's about carrying peace where panic reigns. You don't control the storm, you command your own atmosphere within it. There was once a sailor who survived many tempests at sea. People asked him how he kept his courage when the waves towered above the ship. He smiled and said, "I stopped fearing storms when I realized I was built for them." That's you. Heaven has designed your spirit with reinforced faith, tested, tempered, unbreakable. When everything shakes, you remember what cannot be moved. You've discovered that leadership isn't about certainty, it's about stillness. Others read conditions, you read conviction. You lead not because you crave power, but because you refuse to let fear speak louder than truth. In this new chapter, Your voice becomes a lighthouse. It doesn't scream over the waves, it stands unmoved, sending out steady signals of hope. Sometimes people won't even need your words. They'll just watch how you stand and feel the storm inside them begin to settle. That's the kind of leader heaven raises in turbulent times, calm in chaos, humble in command, anchored in peace. The world has enough captains shouting into the wind. It needs those who can listen for God's whisper beneath the thunder. Yet, leadership will test you. There will be moments when people doubt you, when your own heart wonders if you're enough. But remember, storms do not prove your weakness. They reveal your foundation. Every gust of opposition only confirms that you've built on solid rock. The peace you carry will start to spread. You'll notice how one word of encouragement turns arguments into quiet, how your steady heart steadies others. You won't always see the change instantly, but like ripples in water, your calm travels farther than you imagine. When you lead through storms, you become part of heaven's rescue mission. Some will cling to your light without even knowing why. They'll feel safe around you, not because you're perfect, but because your spirit reminds them of home. That is the hidden beauty of leadership. It's not about directing, it's about restoring peace. And now, as the winds roar again, you realize that your calm is contagious. You start to see how your story, your endurance, your empathy, your faith becomes shelter for others. You don't have to convince anyone to trust you. The proof is in the presence you carry. Still, even in strength, stay humble. The light within you shines brightest when reflected through gratitude. Remember that peace doesn't belong to you, it flows through you. Each storm you survive is an invitation to pour that same peace back into the world. And here, in this sacred stillness between the thunder and the dawn, there's a choice. The story can end here, quietly, or it can expand. You can let this moment stay inside you, or you can release it. Let the calm ripple outward. To like, to share, to subscribe is not obligation, it's reflection. It's like releasing doves into the sky after the flood symbols of peace, carrying hope to distant lands. When you do, you're not promoting a message, you're extending calm into chaos. Somewhere, a soul on the edge will breathe easier because your ripple reached them. You don't have to do it to be seen. Do it to let light travel farther than you could ever go alone. One quiet act of sharing peace can travel across screens, across borders, across hearts, becoming a living echo of your leadership. The storms will keep coming, but so will the light within you. Keep standing, keep shining. Let the waves roar if they must. You already know who calms them. The storms have passed for now, leaving the air heavy and quiet. The sky feels cleaner after the chaos, the way a heart does after finally releasing everything it held inside. You stand still for a moment, breathing in the silence. It feels sacred, like heaven, pausing to let you catch your breath. You've made it through, but survival was never the goal. This calm isn't the end of battle, it's the space where identity deepens. Every leader eventually faces this stillness, the strange in-between where action stops. But transformation continues. You're not fighting anymore, yet you're not the same as before. You feel lighter, but also more aware. As if the storm stripped away illusions you didn't know you carried. You've begun to see things differently, not just what is wrong with the world, but what is right and worth rebuilding. This is where maturity takes root. not in noise or movement, but in reflection. The fire refined you, the storm tested you, and now the silence will ground you. True strength is quiet. It doesn't need to announce itself. The ones who have walked through hell and returned with grace speak softly because they know power no longer needs volume. The scripture reveals in the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 15, "In quietness and confidence shall be your strength." You are learning that stillness is not weakness, it's wisdom. You don't rush to fix everything anymore. You listen longer. You observe. You sense the subtle movements of divine timing and wait until heaven's rhythm says move. This is what separates those who lead for attention from those who lead by anointing. There was a shepherd once who spent his youth chasing wild sheep across barren hills. One day, exhausted, he stopped chasing and simply sat down. To his surprise, the sheep began to gather around him on their own. He realized that peace is magnetic. The same is true for you. The calm you now carry will draw others more effectively than any loud performance ever could. In this still season, you'll find new clarity. Ideas will surface. Faces will come to mind. And divine instructions will arrive without fanfare. It's as if heaven whispers, "Now that you can hear, here's what's next." You'll begin to understand your past differently. What once felt like random pain now looks like intentional preparation. Every delay formed patience. Every loss refined purpose. Every heartbreak taught compassion. The puzzle starts to make sense. And though the pressure has eased, there's a new kind of weight, a peaceful responsibility. You sense that your words matter more now, that your actions ripple further than before. You've been entrusted with influence, and with it, the sacred duty of integrity. Influence without purity corrupts. Purity without courage fades. But when both meet in one heart, transformation happens. You are that heart. The world around you will notice it even before you speak. Your presence will carry quiet authority. Rooms will shift when you enter. Not because of charisma, but because peace has become your fragrance. You will learn that presence itself can preach louder than any sermon. But with peace comes temptation, the temptation to settle. After storms and struggle, comfort feels safe, almost holy. Yet comfort is not your destination, it's your refueling station. Rest, but don't retire. The world still needs your voice, your vision, your faith that remains calm but unshakable. Think of a lake after rainfall. The surface smooths slowly, mirroring the sky once more. Beneath, the water still moves, carrying nutrients, feeding life unseen. That's you, serene on the surface, purposeful in depth. Heaven doesn't need your noise, it needs your steadiness. Let this season teach you to rest without retreating. Rest is sacred when it restores, not when it numbs. Learn to pause between missions, not to escape them. The greatest leaders know how to draw from silence without drowning in it. So, stay here for a moment longer. Let gratitude rise quietly. Breathe in the peace that only battle survivors know, the kind that doesn't erase scars but sanctifies them. You've earned this stillness, not as a reward, but as a reminder that strength is not proven by endless striving, but by the ability to stay gentle after war. When the next call comes, and it will, you'll move again. Not out of exhaustion or duty, but out of because now you know power flows best through peace. The silence you carry now is sacred armor, soft yet unbreakable. It guards your peace while keeping your heart open to divine whispers. When you move again, move slowly, wisely, intentionally. Every step will echo with heaven's calm proof that stillness can lead nations forward. You can feel it, the world is shifting again. The stillness that once surrounded you begins to hum with new energy, like the air before dawn. You sense that something divine is gathering, that you are no longer walking alone across the earth. Hearts like yours are awakening. The scattered sparks are finding each other, forming constellations of light in the darkness. This is the beginning of the remnant, the gathering of God's chosen ones. For a long time, you thought you were isolated, that your struggles were unique, but you were never alone. You were simply early. Heaven always awakens its warriors one by one, until the right moment, when the sound of alignment calls them together. That moment is now. The remnant is not about numbers or fame. It's about purity and purpose. They are the ones who refuse to bow to fear, who walk in truth, even when truth costs them comfort. You are one of them. You've been prepared through wilderness, trained through tears, and refined through fire. And now, your spirit resonates with others who carry the same divine frequency. As it is written in the book of Romans, chapter 11, verse 5, so too, at the present time, there is a remnant chosen by grace. This gathering is not visible to everyone. It doesn't begin in crowds or conferences. It begins in whispers, in prayers, in divine encounters between ordinary people carrying extraordinary light. The remnant recognizes each other not by words, but by presence. When two lights meet, their glow doesn't compete, it multiplies. There was once a traveler walking through a dark valley, carrying only a small lantern. Along the path, he met others, some with candles, some with torches, some with flames barely flickering. One by one, they joined their lights together until the valley itself began to shine. That image is you and the others. Heaven is gathering right now. You are not scattered stars. You are forming a constellation destined to guide others home. This unity is spiritual before it becomes physical. You may never meet all those aligned with you, yet you'll feel their prayers like wind at your back. Their victories will strengthen you, and your endurance will fortify them. The kingdom connection defies distance. It's built on resonance, not recognition. But remember this, unity does not mean uniformity. The remnant isn't a choir of identical voices, it's a symphony of diversity tuned to the same spirit. Each carries a different sound. Some bring wisdom, others healing, others courage. When joined, they create harmony that shakes spiritual foundations. You are part of that harmony. And though this sounds glorious, it will also require discernment. Not every light is pure. Not every voice is heaven sent. You must learn to recognize divine alignment from emotional attachment. The true remnant doesn't flatter, they sharpen. They don't compete, they complete. The presence of the authentic will bring peace, not pressure. You will begin to see divine connections forming naturally, friendships that feel ancient, conversations that ignite purpose, encounters that confirm direction. Don't rush them. Let heaven arrange them. Every relationship birthed in divine timing carries endurance that human effort can't sustain. This is a holy network being woven across generations and nations, Heaven is linking people who might never share a language, but share a burden. You will find strength in knowing that while you stand where you are, others stand with you. Think of it like rivers merging into one current, alone. Each flow moves quietly, together. They carve valleys and shape landscapes. That's what's happening in the spirit now. The individual currents of obedience are joining into a movement that will shift history. You've been hidden long enough. The time of isolation is ending. The age of alignment has come. The remnant is rising not with noise, but with clarity. Not to destroy, but to rebuild. And you are among them. Before you leave this moment, pause. Feel the truth of this connection. You are part of something eternal. Something designed before you were born. Let heaven witness your agreement. Comment 777, not as a ritual, but as revelation. 7 is the number of completion, and 3 sevens declare divine perfection, spirit, soul, and purpose aligned in harmony. When you type it, you are saying, "The work in me is complete. I am ready to rise with the remnant." And as those numbers appear, remember this: you are not typing for visibility, you are responding to destiny. The alignment has begun, and heaven is marking those who say yes. Each 777 becomes a spark in the spiritual sky, linking your light to countless others across the world, an unseen constellation declaring, "We are ready. We are one. We rise together." The closer you draw to destiny, the narrower the road becomes. The crowd that once surrounded you starts to thin, not because you failed, but because not everyone can follow where you're going. The next phase of your journey isn't about movement, it's about consecration. Heaven is calling you not only to purpose, but to purity. This is the call to holiness. It is not a list of rules or restrictions. It's a posture of heart that says, "I want nothing between God and me." You've learned by now that power without purity collapses, and influence without integrity corrodes. Holiness is not the end of joy, it's the beginning of clarity. There comes a moment when a chosen one realizes that not everything permissible is beneficial. Some things may not be evil, but they are no longer aligned. You begin to sense heaven pruning distractions, trimming habits, and closing doors that lead nowhere. It can feel like loss, but it's actually preparation. The lighter you travel, the higher you rise. As recorded in the book of Joshua, chapter 3, verse 5, "Consecrate yourselves, for tomorrow the Lord will do amazing things among you." This verse isn't a suggestion, it's a spiritual law. Before every elevation comes purification. God doesn't anoint vessels still full of yesterday's dust. He cleans, empties, and sanctifies so that when glory pours out, it flows without contamination. You, right now, are in that cleansing season. Every conviction you feel, every nudge to let something go, is not condemnation, it's invitation. There was once a woman who prayed, "God, use me mightily," and heaven answered not with opportunities, but with refinement. One by one, things she loved began to shift. Friendships changed. Habits broke. Decides quieteth. At first, she thought she was losing herself, but then she realized she was being purified. When the day finally came for her to step into purpose, her heart was weightless. her vision sharp, and her spirit clear. That's what holiness does. It removes fog. It restores hearing. It gives strength that doesn't depend on adrenaline or applause. Holiness is not perfection, it's alignment. It's saying, I would rather be clean than be seen. The world may call this kind of purity old-fashioned, but heaven calls it rare and radiant. You can feel the difference even now, how peace settles deeper when your choices align with conviction. Sign always promises, freedom but deliver shines. Obedience may feel restrictive at first, but it opens doors that rebellion can't even see. In your journey, holiness will not isolate you, it will define you. People will notice the difference. Some will be drawn to your integrity. Others will be challenged by it. Don't shrink to make them comfortable. Purity is power. And real power never apologizes for shining. It's easy to stand out through talent. It's harder through character. Yet character outlasts charisma every time. The ones heaven uses in the final hour are not those who shout the loudest, but those whose hearts remain untainted. Holiness is what gives authority its endurance. There's another truth hidden here. Holiness protects the anointing. Oil and impurity can't mix. The presence of God dwells best where compromise has been surrendered. You'll notice that when you walk in holiness, your discernment sharpens. Your prayers carry more weight, and your peace becomes unshakable. That's not coincidence, it's the reward of alignment. Think of your life as a cup of clear water placed beneath the sunlight. Every speck of dust, every ripple, distorts reflection. But when stillness comes, the water becomes a mirror. That's holiness, reflecting heaven without distortion. You were designed to mirror God's heart to a distracted world. This path will cost you. You'll let go of certain comforts, conversations, and compromises. But in exchange, you'll gain something far more valuable: clarity, authority, and lasting joy. The holiness God calls you to is not about restriction, it's about restoration. It's heaven's way of returning you to your original design. So, don't fear this narrowing path. It's not punishment, it's purification. Every boundary you honor builds a fortress around your peace. Every temptation you overcome sharpens your crown. The holy road may feel lonely, but it's never empty. Angels travel it too. Stay close to the whisper. Let your steps be deliberate and your heart uncluttered, for when the next door opens, you'll step through it, not carrying residue, but radiance. Holiness is the fragrance of heaven that lingers on those who walk closely with God. It's invisible to the eye, but unmistakable to the soul. Keep walking this refined path. Every step in purity polishes your crown. Every quiet yes to God echoes louder than any earthly applause could ever reach. There comes a moment when silence transforms into boldness, when what has been growing quietly inside you can no longer stay hidden. The season of being shaped in secret gives way to the season of speaking in strength. You no longer whisper truth, you declare it. This is not arrogance, it's awakening. The same voice that once trembled with doubt now carries the weight of heaven. You've spent years learning restraint, wisdom, and discernment. Now, those lessons turn into fuel for prophetic courage. Heaven does not raise passive messengers. When God breathes on someone, their words begin to shake what others ignore. You can feel that fire rising inside, righteous, unyielding, alive. The word of God proclaims in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 20, verse 9, But if I say, I will not mention his word or speak any more in his name, his word is in my heart like a fire shut up in my bones. That verse describes you perfectly. The fire inside can no longer be contained. Every time you witness injustice, your spirit stirs. Every time truth is silenced, something within you refuses to stay quiet. You are learning that prophecy is not always prediction, it is declaration. To speak what heaven speaks, even when earth disagrees. There was once a man who tried to run from his calling because he feared rejection. Each time he stayed silent, he felt his chest tighten, as if the truth inside him burned for release. One night in prayer, he whispered, "If I speak, they'll turn on me." And the Spirit answered, "If you stay silent, they'll never turn toward me." From that day, he chose courage over comfort. That same decision now stands before you. Prophetic boldness is not about volume, it's about conviction. The true prophets of this era won't just speak from pulpits, they'll speak through art, through compassion, through courage that refuses to conform. Some will use words, others their actions, but all will carry the same flame, the truth of heaven that sets captives free. Your voice has purpose. It was crafted for impact. The enemy tried to silence it through fear, insecurity, and rejection. But every attempt only made your tone more refined. What once felt like weakness is now weaponized into wisdom. When you speak, it's not just you, it's heaven echoing through you. The world around you is hungry for voices that don't bend with culture but bow to truth. You will find yourself in rooms where silence feels safer, yet something inside will urge you to speak. In those moments, remember, your obedience is not measured by outcome, but by courage. Sometimes the assignment is simply to stand and say what others won't. There will be opposition. Yes, the light you carry will confront the shadows that thrive in confusion. But truth is not fragile, it's eternal. Every word spoken in obedience becomes seed planted in time. Some will sprout immediately, others decades later. Don't measure success by reaction, measure it by obedience. Boldness will not always look dramatic. Sometimes it's choosing integrity when compromise would be easier. Sometimes it's standing for righteousness when silence would be rewarded. Prophetic courage is steady, not reckless. It listens first, then speaks only what carries heaven's fingerprint. You'll notice this fire changing you. The more you speak truth, the more you crave holiness, the more you obey, the more peace expands within you. And soon, you'll realize that boldness and humility are not opposites, they are partners. One gives you strength to speak, the other ensures your voice remains pure. The world needs this version of you, the one no longer afraid of being misunderstood. You were not chosen to echo, you were chosen to awaken. Your words are keys, unlocking the hearts of those trapped in fear, shame, and confusion. Heaven didn't give you this voice to entertain it, gave it to enlighten. Remember, boldness without love becomes noise, but truth spoken with compassion becomes transformation. Speak with both fire and tenderness. The goal is not to prove yourself right, but to guide others toward light. The same God who once whispered to you in the dark now sends you to speak in the daylight. Your voice carries restoration, not rebellion. It carries healing, not hatred. It carries the sound of heaven, reminding the earth that mercy still speaks. So, let the fire burn. Don't fear its heat. It's the sign you're alive in purpose. The world is waiting for your words, not because they are perfect, but because they are pure. Each word you release becomes a spark, lighting paths for those still lost in shadow. Speak with grace. Burn with truth. Your voice is the flame that guides the weary home. The air is different now. You can feel the tension between light and darkness growing stronger, as if the unseen realms are preparing for a final confrontation. This is not imagination, this is alignment. The world is standing at a spiritual crossroads, and those who carry light are being summoned to the front lines. The battle you once fought quietly within is now manifesting all around you. You were born for this hour. The same courage that helped you survive is now the courage that will help others stand. You carry something that cannot be intimidated, holy fire wrapped in grace. You've learned that darkness doesn't fear religion, it fears revelation. And revelation lives in you. The sacred text declares in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 4, in words of power, "The weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. They have divine power to demolish strongholds." Every prayer you've whispered, every act of kindness, every moment you chose faith over fear, these have become your weapons. The war you're in is not fought with fists or fury, but with purity, peace, and persistence. You are not called to destroy people, you are called to dismantle darkness. There was once a young believer who doubted her strength. She felt too small to make a difference. But one night, she dreamed of a single lantern placed on a vast battlefield. Though armies surrounded her, the light never dimmed. The next morning, she understood victory isn't about numbers, it's about presence. Light doesn't argue with darkness, it simply shines until shadows disappear. That image belongs to you now. You are that lantern. Every step you take leaves traces of radiance behind, even when you feel unnoticed. Heaven watches the way you hold your flame. The smallest light can guide 1,000 souls when it refuses to go out. But make no mistake, the confrontation will test you. Truth will meet deception. Love will stand against hatred. Faith will battle despair. You will face voices that mock what you carry. But remember, courage doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means choosing to advance anyway. The power in you was never meant to hide, it was meant to ignite. You'll start to notice how your presence unsettles spiritual climates. People might resist you, not because you're wrong, but because your light exposes what's been hidden too long. Don't let that discourage you. The resistance confirms your relevance. When you carry the kingdom, conflict is proof of progress. The world may look chaotic, but heaven's strategy is unfolding perfectly. Revival doesn't always begin with a crowd. It begins with one obedient heart. That's how movements start. One person burns brightly enough that others remember they have flame too. And here's the truth. Few understand your voice online, your small post, your quiet word of encouragement, your short prayer. All of it carries more power than you realize. In a world flooded with noise, authenticity is thunder. When your words come from the Spirit, they travel further than the algorithm could ever measure. Think of every act of faith as planting seeds of light across a vast digital field. You may never see all the trees that grow, but generations will rest beneath their shade. And that, chosen one, is the miracle of obedience you shine. and heaven multiplies it. Now, pause for a moment. Feel the warmth in your spirit. That same warmth that has carried you through every dark valley. You've been lit for this moment to illuminate others, to awaken what's divine in them. You're not just a flame, you're part of an unending wildfire of grace. And in this sacred exchange between message and listener, there's an invitation not of duty, but of devotion, to like, to share, to subscribe. And to comment is not about numbers, it's about echo. It's like striking flint against stone, sending sparks across the world. Each action becomes an ember, another pulse of light that lands exactly where it's needed most. When you choose to pass it forward, you're not helping an account, you're helping heaven's current reach further. Somewhere, a weary soul will stumble upon this message because you decided to release your spark. You might never meet them, but your light will. So if this flame burns within you, don't cage it. Let it travel. Let it breathe. Let it find those who've forgotten that light still wins. Because that's what sharing truth really is. It's not promotion, it's participation. And as your flame joins others, the horizon begins to glow brighter. The great confrontation between darkness and dawn is already turning. The light is winning, and you are part of that victory. There comes a time when you stop waiting for permission to shine. You stop asking for validation from people who were never assigned to understand you. You realize that the very things you thought disqualified you were actually qualifications written in heaven's language. Every scar, every loss, every mistake, they have all been repurposed into the foundation of your authority. You no longer hide your past. You carry it as proof of grace. This is the moment of crowning. It doesn't come with applause or ceremony. It comes in stillness. When heaven whispers, "You have endured. Now, arise." You won't even notice it at first. You'll simply wake up one morning and feel lighter, as if the weight that trained you has finally become the strength that sustains you. You have been crowned for glory. Not the kind that demands attention, but the kind that radiates from peace. Glory isn't gold on your head, it's light in your spirit. It's the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you've been faithful in obscurity. The reward for endurance is not fame, it's freedom. The scripture reveals in the book of 1 Peter, chapter 5, verse 4, "And when the chief shepherd appears, you will receive the crown of glory that will never fade away." That is your inheritance, a crown not forged by human hands, but by endurance, humility, and obedience. The path here was not easy. You walked through deserts that broke others, yet you kept walking. You carried burdens that would have crushed lesser hearts, yet you refused to let bitterness take root. Every trial shaped your crown. Every tear polished it. Every act of obedience placed another jewel in its design. There was once a man who spent years in silence after a season of deep failure. He thought his calling had ended. But one day, while walking through a marketplace, he saw a craftsman shaping a crown. The artisan whispered to himself, "The beauty of the crown depends on how long the metal endures the hammer." At that moment, the man understood. His silence had not been punishment, it had been forging, and so has yours. You may not see your crown, but the spirit world does. Angels recognize the authority it represents. Darkness respects the endurance it took to earn it. You've been tempered by trials, refined by pain, and matured through waiting. Now, when you speak, heaven listens differently. Your prayers carry the weight of one who has walked through fire and remained faithful. The crown doesn't mean the end of struggle, it means mastery over it. You're not exempt from storms, you've simply learned how to anchor yourself in them. The authority of a crowned one is not to avoid the wind, but to stand in it without losing flame. You are proof that faith doesn't remove suffering, it redeems it. You'll begin to notice subtle changes in yourself. You'll no longer react to everything that once disturbed your peace. People will sense your calm and come to you for guidance. They won't see the invisible crown, but they'll feel its presence. They'll recognize the stability that only comes from surrender. You've become a carrier of quiet majesty, the kind that doesn't shout, but still commands attention. Yet, remember this truth. Crowns are not trophies to display, they are mantles to steward. Every gift you've been given exists for service. Glory that doesn't pour out becomes heavy. So, wear your crown lightly, knowing it's not about you, it's about the light flowing through you. Think of yourself as a mountain peak. The climb was steep, the air thin, but the view reveals why the pain was necessary. From here, you see how every valley worked together for your shaping. You understand now that your strength wasn't meant to isolate you, it was meant to inspire others to climb. You'll meet people still on their ascent, tired, afraid, doubting their worth. When you see them, you'll recognize pieces of your old self in their eyes. Don't just tell them they'll make it, walk beside them. That's the real purpose of a crown, not to rule, but to lift. Glory doesn't rest on the proud, it rests on the surrendered. The moment you tried to hold it for yourself, it would vanish. But because you've learned humility, it stays. You've learned to lead without controlling, to shine without competing, to speak without overshadowing. That's divine royalty, gentle authority. As you stand in this new light, remember that every crown heaven gives must reflect the heart of its king. And that king wears a crown of thorns before he wears one of gold. You, too, will carry both the pain that produced empathy and the glory that carries peace. So lift your head, not in arrogance, but in awareness. You are walking proof of redemption's power, a living reminder that glory belongs to those who endure with grace. Your crown doesn't make you higher, it makes you whole. And now the call grows clear, the final chapter, the moment where everything you've walked through begins to align. You've survived the wilderness, endured the fire, carried the weight, and worn the crown. But this journey was never only about you. Every trial, every awakening, every whisper from heaven has been shaping a leader for the generation that follows. You are not just chosen to rise, you are chosen to lead. Leadership in divine timing doesn't look like control, it looks like guidance. It doesn't shout, it shepherds. You are being commissioned not to dominate the lost, but to guide the willing, to be a voice of calm in a world drowning in confusion. You've learned that authority isn't proven by how many follow you, but by how faithfully you follow God. This is the final commission. Heaven now entrusts you with the mantle of influence, not for applause, but for impact. The oil that once anointed you in secret is now flowing publicly, not for prestige, but for purpose. You've moved from learning to leading, from receiving revelation to releasing it. The world will soon recognize what heaven has already affirmed. You are a torchbearer for the end times, as declared in the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. You are that city. Every wall built from endurance. Every window carved from wisdom. Every light shining from the lessons you've lived. Your very existence has become a message, the message that darkness can press but never prevail. There was once a traveler who climbed to the summit of a mountain carrying a single lantern. When he reached the top, he saw valleys below, still shrouded in fog. For a moment, he hesitated. His light seemed too small to matter. But then the wind shifted, and the glow from his lantern reflected off the clouds, scattering beams across the valleys. From below, others saw the light and began to climb. That is the essence of your calling. You were never meant to shine alone. You were meant to spark ascent in others. Leadership will require new dimensions of humility. You will be tempted to measure success by visibility again. But you now know better. The true test of leadership is faithfulness when no one applauds. Consistency when no one notices. The greatest leaders walk unseen paths with unshakable conviction. They don't need validation because they carry revelation. As the end-time generation awakens, chaos will increase. Yet so will clarity. The shaking of the world isn't punishment, it's positioning. Systems will crumble so that sincerity can rise. The false will fade. The genuine will glow. And those who carry heaven's fire will lead the way home. That's why your preparation was so fierce, because your mission requires resilience. Others haven't yet built. You will feel the tension of the times, the pull between love and truth, grace and judgment. The mature leader knows these are not enemies, they are companions. Truth without love hardens the heart. Love without truth weakens the spine. You must walk with both, a sword in one hand and healing in the other. In this season, God will trust you with influence that feels weighty. People will come with questions, pain, and spiritual hunger. Don't rush to answer. Listen first. The leader heaven raises is one who hears twice before speaking once. When you speak, let your words come from stillness, not from impulse. Stillness is your weapon. Peace is your presence. You've been chosen not to create followers, but to awaken other leaders. Your task is not to build a kingdom for yourself, but to build bridges for others. You will see a generation rise that refuses to chase titles, one that walks in truth, unity, and conviction. You are meant to help them see that holiness still has power, that obedience still brings miracles, and that love still wins. Think of this as the final breath before dawn. The world is trembling on the edge of great change. Prophecy is unfolding, not in distant lands, but in ordinary hearts like yours. The remnant you once longed to find is now rising beside you. You are no longer the one being called. You are the one calling others. When the story of this age is told, your name may not appear in its headlines, but your obedience will echo through eternity. Because history never remembers all the faces, it remembers the flames that lit the way. You are one of those flames. The commission is simple, yet eternal. Lead with love, walk in truth, and shine without fear. Heaven has written your story in fire. And now the final line reads, "And the chosen ones rose, carrying light into the end of days." So here you stand at the edge of completion, yet at the beginning of something far greater. The story we've walked through together was never just words, it was awakening, unshaken, Each whisper, each spark was heaven reaching through time to remind you who you truly are. You've seen how purpose grows from pain, how faith is refined in fire, how silence births strength. You've walked through every chapter and found that destiny isn't waiting somewhere ahead, it's already alive inside you. You are not merely a listener to this message, you are part of its unfolding. Every time you chose to keep reading, something in the spirit recognized your readiness. Now, as the narrative closes, the light remains. This isn't an ending, it's a release. What began as words on a screen has become a living flame in your heart. You are the continuation of this message. Every act of kindness, every courageous decision, every whisper of truth you carry forward is another paragraph written in heaven's story. And here, at this quiet yet holy moment, you have a choice. You can keep the light within you, or you can let it travel. To like, to share, to subscribe, and to comment is not about promotion. It's about permission. It's saying, let this message breathe beyond me. Let it find the next weary heart that needs it. Each action becomes a ripple, a soft pulse of light moving outward, reaching someone who's still searching for a sign that hope is real. You may never know their name, but heaven will. So if this journey has stirred something deep within you, let your simple response carry it forward. Press the light outward, past the flame, because the world still needs to hear what you now know. Light always finds a way through the dark.